threshold for sex with an alien?
I mean, I don't know. I guess, like you said, that tall white thing was cool. Does it have to be
human-esque? Like,
yeah, probably, but...
What's the appendages? Could you do it with an alien that had 4 arms?
Yeah.
That's totally on the table.
Yeah.
Doggy style with an alien with 4 arms wouldn't even be called doggy style. It would be like ant style or something. Like, we're doing an ant style.
You know what? We're talking about, like, having, like, sex with aliens, but, like...
Naturally.
Like, but I think this is bullshit because we wouldn't even have sex with certain humans that, like, don't fit our criteria for what we like.
Yeah.
So, like, we're going to have... Like, you wouldn't have sex with a guy if you're not gay, so how could you have sex with an alien that has a totally different hole?
That's true.
Listen, biology...
Guys just have a penis like, it's familiar. Why wouldn't we be
biology is tricky. What if they have a pheromone that attracts you to them?
Well,
like
that's
the
different.
Orion
Yeah,
females, you know? I mean, there are other things out there, you know? We were joking...
What if they had a different name for they had a different hole, a totally different sex organ, like a hooshi?
What's a hooshi?
I don't know, like, I'm going to go down in their hooshi.
What's a hooshi?
A hooshi is like a hooshi.
It's like a thing I can't conceive of?
You can't even conceive of it.
Like a giant clitoris type thing?
No, it's not a clitoris, it's not a dick, it's a hooshi.
What do you have to vibrate it? How do you get it off? How do you operate it?
It's totally different. Totally different.
Man,
yeah, it's a hooshi.
I would master the hooshi in 6 months.
Hooshi is so wet.
Scientists
from all, it's supposed to be wet.
Scientists from all over the planet.
Your Hooshi's so dry.
Like, I can't understand how this damn thing works.
Yeah.
Call in an expert. Like, I'll take a look at that thing. Let me at it.
Yeah.
Like, we can't tell if it's male, female, what is it? I'm like, well, right here is the sublayer of the hooshi. You have to stimulate the right orb, the right gland on the hooshi. Reality.
UFOs.
Science.
Consciousness.
Sex, drugs, and rock and roll.
That might not be a real thing. The podcast.
Ready? I'm gonna do it. Hey, welcome back to the dark side, everybody. I'm your host, the Candyman, here with Macca and Danny D. Today we are doing an episode on UFOs, take 2. Why is that? We love you. We love you guys so much. We recorded one already. It was shite.
Yeah.
We couldn't put it out there.
This one might be shit too, but...
We're going to hope not.
We're going to hope not.
We couldn't put it out there. The material was good, but the facts were out of skew, and we just weren't on our A game, and we love our audience, so we want you guys to get the very best. So I hope you appreciate it.
I think it's good timing, too, because I was abducted by aliens last night.
Oh,
interesting.
And they pierced my nipples. It was really weird. I woke up with pierced nipples.
Goes back to my theory.
That
We're dealing with some perverts.
Yeah. We had a big window, too. We stayed in a hotel last night, and, you know, I usually in a hotel, I like to wipe my dick in the curtains, like, you know, just to leave my mark, but...
That's what...
I ended up doing it last night. I fell asleep.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I fell asleep.
Wow.
And then that's probably why I was abducted.
You think you were abducted because you got your nipples pierced by extraterrestrials last night?
Yeah, they pierced them. Now there's barbells in there, and I can't get them out.
Fascinating. Couple of things though. I did want to say we're back from a 2-week hiatus. Last week we had my cousin William O'Mara, filmmaker, investigative journalist. He was on, and we were doing the mass killing phenomenon, and that shit happened out in Colorado this fucking week. So that
we launched that.
Yeah, it's live. So
listen to it.
So you know, shout out to everyone out there that's dealing with that.
There was 2 since we recorded.
I mean, not
2 what?
2 mass killings.
So I don't want to get stuck on that this week because we're talking ETs.
Time.
But I mean, right after it happened,
Atlanta.
I texted my cousin.
Colorado.
I think the Colorado one, the grocery store, right? And I was like, "Hey, man, this," because I had a busy week. I hadn't edited the episode yet and put it up, and so it was just really fucked up that. Like a mass shooting happened right after we recorded, and then
2.
Yeah, and then my cousin, who as you know, has been doing research into this topic. He's like, this is going to start to happen left and right now because you got like this massive amount of people that is being released back into the wild with all this like 2 years of emotional baggage built up. And plus we put about, I don't know, 500% of the amount of firearms that used to be on the street are on the street now, probably in the last year. What do you think that number is realistically? 200%?
It's a lot.
A shit ton of people bought guns this year.
Right.
People that already had guns bought more guns. People that didn't have guns got guns.
You can't even get ammo now, I heard. Or guns.
Yeah, you can't. You can't. People are. You can get guns. It's hard to get ammo, but people are manufacturing their own right now in unorthodox ways that never
3D
been done.
Printing and stuff.
All kinds of ingenuity.
I saw a little minigun shooting on YouTube that shoots little real bullets.
Oh yeah,
and it was so cool.
Yeah, people
tiny.
make some crazy shit.
I just have a spiked bat.
So here we are. We're supposed to have an ET extraterrestrial talk because something we're interested in. My theory on ETs simply is that, and Dan's going to give us a little history. Macca has a very interesting theory of his own, which took me a few weeks to get my mind around, but I'm starting to come around to it, and it's not that unbelievable. My thing on extraterrestrials is simply that it's ludicrous to think that we're the only living intelligent life in the universe, right? When we did the original recording, you were mentioning, Danny, you were saying like whatever the number of stars and infinite number of stars and blah blah blah.
Just in our field of vision, in our.
But it's just, if you're alive and you're on a planet that's in the Goldilocks zone, that's one.
People say, oh, but we have the perfect distance from the sun. It's like, yeah, but do you know how many are out there? The fact that our Earth is the perfect distance from the sun means that others will be the perfect size and distance from the sun.
Yeah.
Like, maybe not like 1 in 100, but certainly 1 in a million or something like that.
Even
we'll have planets like that. There's dinosaurs up there. There's King Kong. There's fucking things with 8 dicks. There's all sorts of shit out there.
Well, we got the dual phallic guy on our planet with 2 dicks, so
phallic, dude.
We're already there. But
he pinches one off to pee.
Macca, you want to bring us in on your extraterrestrial theories, like as to why you think they visit the planet?
Well,
in a nutshell,
I think there's probably, as is documented, there's been multiple trips to Earth by extraterrestrials, and theories of it happening from millions of years ago, and etc. All that stuff, right? But so there's definitely a race of aliens that visit this planet, and they have this similar mind as humans, that they're from a wealthy planet somewhere, maybe in another galaxy, and they are bored and they are rich, so they can travel for dirty things.
So essentially,
which is what
sex
rich
safari.
People, yes, sex safari.
So this
Except
is a
they
hot
come
spot.
here and they abduct people, like what happened to Dan last night. This is last night, and they do weird things.
Just last night. What a coincidence!
That's what I'm saying. So
the coincidence
sometimes
is crazy. They knew the show was coming. That's why.
Sometimes
we texted
it's
about
just something simple, like
They
a forced nipple piercing.
They intercepted our transmissions.
But
they knew I wanted my nipples pierced anyways. So
right, and you are on their level.
What if they milked him of fluids against what he doesn't know about?
That's right. Yeah. They might have blanked you out.
They might have.
The only way to shut them was to clamp them with whatever's clamped under there.
You know how painful nipple piercing is?
I do.
By the way.
As a matter of fact.
You do, actually. Yeah, it's pretty painful.
So that's my thing. I think there's rich aliens from some other Earth that come here, and they do various different perverted things to humans.
That...
And they've been advancing their technology to do it every year.
The same...
creeps.
Same petty crap, or the lesser angels of our human nature, basically.
Yeah.
You think that's something that's just like it's panspermia. The whole universe if you're basically, there is a theory like that intelligence operates in a certain way, and that like for an extra, like our species does some really fucked up shit, war and killing and pollution, devastation, all sort of stuff. But debatably, we're the apex predator on the planet, right? And you could say, like, viruses and bacteria and some other things, technically are, if you're talking like a 1-to-1 ratio.
But even we beat out viruses eventually.
Yeah, well, we don't know that, but I mean, so far that's the trend, right? We're the top of the planet.
We're the
right?
best around. No one's ever going to let us.
And so there's a theory that, like, in order to get here,
The best
around, in order to get to the top, you have to have the intelligence to trump out all the other animals. You have to have like certain biological advantages that get you to the top of the food chain, but intelligence seems to be like the trump all. So
because like if it was all about like brute strength and stuff, like Nile crocodile would have us or a lion.
Anacondas.
No, we outdo them.
We outsmart them.
Yeah, tigers are so fast and furious, and they're like scared of us.
But we catch them in a trap if we want to.
Right.
We shoot them with our technology.
A tiger by a toe.
Yeah, something like that. So, yeah, I mean, some people feel like the whole entire planet of Earth was like a biological experiment for these giant ETs, but I don't think that's what's going on. Not that it isn't the perfect place to do it, right? Because we talked about
we're a zoo.
Well, yeah, we talked about the Goldilocks zone, right? So, like, if we wanted to do experiments in biology and stuff, and we didn't want to do them on our own planet for whatever reason, we might go do them somewhere else if we had the ability to do it.
There's more stars in the galaxy, in the universe that we can see or more stars out there than grains of sand on every beach on the whole entire planet. So people who say there's nothing out there, they're insane and stupid and small-minded.
Well, here's the thing, that this week alone they found a new, and this has happened, I want to say like 2-3 years ago, the first one was on the news, but like they find these microbes living on the International Space Station. And they're not like, I mean, there are lots of living organisms we've probably not discovered on this planet yet. Microbes probably being some of them because they're so small. But these have supposedly never been cataloged by anyone on the planet before, and presumably came from like micrometeorites with ice on them or something striking into the space station. Then like
that could be how we were seeing
that bacteria, right? So basically, every time something crashes into our planet, there's little bits of microbiotic life on it, and when it touches down into the water and into like the right temps and in the right environment, it starts to thrive and mutate and turn into different shit. So I mean, that just has to be floating around everywhere out there, right? I mean, It's not like the space station. You know how small the space station is in the scheme of the universe?
In the scheme of it.
It's like a fucking...
But to us, it's pretty fucking huge. It's like the size of a football field. That's insane.
Yeah, but like...
Where do you go to jerk off on it?
The fact that we catch, like, something hits it... I mean, I get the Earth's gravity is probably yanking stuff towards it.
Well,
right?
there's so much trash in space, too, that, like... And there's things whipping by. They track a lot of stuff, but, like, they say that sometimes they get hit with, like, a little pebble... And it's like getting hit by a bullet.
You're right. It could be flying up.
Yeah, and I asked not to just be like
800,000 miles an
shocking,
hour.
but like it's not just to be shocking and like you go with my usual trend. But how do you take a shit on the space? And there's a lot of stuff that like I wonder about. Like, do you have to like do it in a bag? Like I'm pretty
sure it's some sort of suction. That
could be a suction,
like a vacuum that you poop into.
It's just they don't talk about that stuff. And like I'd love to see a reality show on like you know what I mean? Like
there's
what
probably
do in the space
a suction.
Yeah, as if anybody had sex in the space station, I'm sure they have.
Definitely.
There's got to be somebody that has.
You like to bring up the poop thing every week, and
I like to do it once a week.
It has turned into a thing, but you can't deny, like it's undeniable. Like if you're going to put people in space, some scientist somewhere has got to come up with an idea of how they're going to poop. You know, like how's this going to work?
Talk about it.
Yeah.
Well, they talk about it. It's on Star Trek, they recycle the poop into a
That's what he did in the movie Mars. Mars movie.
They break down the molecules into the matter into energy, and then they take that energy and reconvert it into other matter. So I can make you like a baseball cap out of your own shit.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I can make a baseball cap of my own shit, but it's not going to be very pretty.
It would look great. So
I mean, I can like form with my fingers.
Right. That's not.
We were going to talk.
Be smelly like a homeless person.
We're going to talk a little bit about because we're from New England. The Barney and Betty Hill thing. We're going to start off with that.
Well, we're going to start off with something a little bit before that, but we're going to get to that.
What do you got?
All right, so New England, there's a lot of encounters in New England. Like, so we are the home of like the Bridgewater Triangle, where there's a lot of like weird, like paranormal and like crypto sightings, like weird animals, Bigfoot, UFOs, major events.
We're on a ley line, are we not?
Apparently, yes.
You know what ley lines are, Sean?
No.
Okay, so this has to do with ETs because you know Stonehenge, right? In England.
Yep.
So there was some cat, I want to say 1900s, right, Dan? Something like that. And he was studying Stonehenge and some other monolithic.
There's a monolithic structure in Salem, New Hampshire, right in the woods.
That's
near
why
us.
I'm saying we're on a ley line. So
and that thing's like connected to Stonehenge somehow.
Correct. That's the ley line.
Yeah.
So here's the deal. The guy in England starts studying. You should look this guy up. Find out who studied Stonehenge. Start throwing
maybe we'll go through that kind of stuff later.
Okay, well, this guy discovers Stonehenge is in line, in a straight line, with one of the other monolithic structures.
Which is right down the street, not far.
In England. Oh. So he figures out, whoa, that's pretty wild. But, a point between two, anything between 2 points is going to form a straight line, right?
Right.
So that was no big deal. But then he starts connecting other ones around the world. And since then, there's been this theory that either ancient humans or ancient extraterrestrials who had a role in our development, whether they were one and the same, I don't know. They had some sort of like wireless power transfer, and that the Pyramid of Giza was like the center of the whole thing. But if you travel around the Earth, you'll find ancient temples and ancient sites like the Stonehenge in Salem, New Hampshire. It all falls along this like perfectly geometric grid that wraps around the Earth. And when you connect all the dots, it's perfectly geometric. And so you say to yourself, like, how the fuck... That it can't be random. It had to be engineered from the sky up. They had to have knowledge of the entire planet. They had to have knowledge of how it was laid out. And then in addition to that, continental shift and other things that happen, like things can move, you know what I mean? Yeah. So like, I'm pretty sure this happened like after the last polar shift. We have a big
fault line too in Massachusetts. And like the last polar shift, like it creates like glacial movement and drumlins, which are like big hills, like Winter Hill is like a big drumlin.
Something about the way that the energy that we don't really understand travels around the Earth, they figured out a way to like harness it and put it into streams and like...
Don't cross the streams.
Yeah, don't cross the streams. But yeah, so Stonehenge in England and Stonehenge in Salem, New Hampshire, as well as like
American Stonehenge.
The Great Pyramid.
I've never been there, but I think there's like you can go there and like check it out.
The Parthenon, the Great Pyramid of Giza, the pyramids in South America.
Pyramids in South America are interesting because they have crushed mica.
Yeah,
that's like really not
that's really
something
weird.
that comes from there. You have to like get it 1,000 miles away, and mica has like electro properties.
They put it on the space shuttle for reentry because it can handle extreme heat.
They think it has to do something with
it was like shielding of some kind. For an energy source that we don't understand. But what I'm telling you is that these ley lines run across the planet. And in a perfectly geometric pattern, and they line up with these ancient sites that were built out of this stone. And when you look at that, you have to say, like, what's your explanation?
How did it happen?
Like that,
Yeah, I don't know.
I've seen images of the original Stonehenge too, like before, like it like got buried half of it. It's ridiculous.
And the pyramid of Giza and its surrounding pyramids basically mirror the constellation Orion. Fine, that's no big deal. Then it faces true north. Also strange, but fine, no big deal.
We have trouble with dates and like sometimes things like in Egypt, like the Sphinx and the pyramids were built so far apart in age, like. But we always clump them together like that's ancient Egypt right there. But when they were building the pyramids, that Sphinx has already been there for thousands of years. So there's just some weird shit like. There's connections. And
supposedly 12,000 years before the pyramid.
So
9,000 or 10,000.
And there's also possible, again, to have something line up that's on different continents.
Very strange.
Pretty bizarre. But we don't know, like, what type of engineering they were using, like what they were using to design things. Like, maybe it just so happened. I doubt that there was a coincidence, but if they're using the same design strategies and they come from the sky, maybe that's where it fits in.
It's weird how all the ancient... So kudos to Ancient Aliens for really turning me on to the topic like 20 years ago when they first started out. Not that...
Greek guy with great hair, too.
Georgios Tsoukalos.
Hot wife too.
Not that he used to be like a bodybuilder and like travel around in like Arnold Schwarzenegger's like entourage, basically.
Really?
Yeah, look it up. It's a real thing.
That's
He used to be
crazy.
he used to be like jacked and like judged body like Mr. Olympia and stuff.
Jesus.
No, I think Ancient Aliens was an important show because it really asks a lot of questions about the past, right? And basically everything that the show is pointing to is that there was some sort of highly technological species on the planet a long time ago. It doesn't mean they came from outer space. It could have very well have been hominids or human-like people that started here, got some technology, fucking on a similar course to what we're on right now, blew themselves the fuck up with atom bombs, fucked up the radiocarbon dating with it, and we just have no idea how long ago it happened.
Right.
It could happen all over again, but to me, it's equally plausible that someone's coming here from another. The other theory is like humans are like a slave labor hybrid that was created to like do some work back in the day for these extraterrestrials, and they just like took off and left us here. Like fuck it.
They could have created us for something and then just decided to leave. Like
Right.
People don't. There's so many like theories out there as to why that may or may not be. I'm like, unless you're like a nuclear physicist and understand like time dilation and the speed of light and how, like, I vaguely understand the concepts, but I couldn't mathematically prove any of them to you. You know what I mean, or disprove. But
Right.
these
you're not that kind of scientist.
that's right. Focus on sex, drugs, and rock and roll.
Yeah.
But, like David Childress is one of my favorite guys on Ancient Aliens, and he's all about like the technology that used to be around. But if you're moving at the speed of light, like in like the 80s, we had Flight of the Navigator. Remember that movie with the little kid?
Yes, the little Flight Navigator.
Little kid in the 80s.
He comes back and he's still a kid, and his parents are like, you've been gone for like 10 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, he'd been gone for 10 years because he went in that ship and they were moving faster than the speed of light or close to the speed of light, right?
They had cool
They
pets on
charted.
the ship.
Yeah, cool.
That's
cool.
I gotta watch that movie again.
You can watch it with the kids, but he was moving
movie.
at
They don't want to watch it with me.
close to or less than the speed of light, or possibly faster. I don't know what the math was in the movie, but he had charted all these star systems, and like he comes back and his whole family's 10 years older. So I mean, if just using that basic principle of like, if there was an extraterrestrial race that had some sort of technology, they came here 10,000 years ago, they may be traveling back to like their HQ right now, and for them it's been 2 months.
Yeah.
Even if it's a year, even if they're in like stasis for a year or something, right? They're like, oh, it's going to be a year, but by the time they come back here, it could have been like 20,000 years of development have passed on our world, right? It's even in Superman, the original Superman, when Superman's like talking to Marlon Brando, Marlon Brando's telling him that by your reckoning, 20,000 of your Earth years will go. I'll be dead for 20,000 of your Earth years by the time you get this.
Yep.
So it's highly possible that some sort of extraterrestrial race just zips around and faster than the speed of light, and that they may even pop in and out of time for all we know. I mean, that's space and time are the same thing. But
All right. So
go ahead.
let's just get back to
Danny's list.
Yeah.
Barney, Betty Hill.
So New England has had a lot of sightings over the years. I mean, the first recorded documented sighting in the United States of America dates back to 1639. Massachusetts Bay Colony co-founder and governor John Winthrop recorded a weird observation of unidentified objects in the sky over Boston in his diary entry from March that year. So basically he talks about some weird shit he saw in the sky that like flamed up and went 30 yards and then flamed up, and then I don't know what flamed up means. But then he talks about how it turned into like a swine and then like ran as swift as an arrow. I think there's a lot of I don't know if it's allegory. He talks in a lot of like symbolism.
Well, he'd be trying to explain something in terms that he couldn't explain it in, right? Like,
Right.
You and I know what a rocket.
His explanation is really weird, but he's explaining a rocket.
Like if I said to you, I saw a rocket fly across the sky and it was shooting, a tail of fire out of its ass, you'd be like, yeah, I know what that looks like. Sure, I've seen that. But for you to see it for the first time and have no vocabulary to try to describe it.
So that's kind of what it sounded like. He had no vocabulary for it.
When was the hot air balloon and all that really invented? Like
the hot air
17,
balloon?
1800s?
Hot air balloon's pretty early, yeah. So they saw from the sky.
So this is going on before that even was a thing.
Yeah, but they saw from the sky around like, I forget, pretty early on though they saw from the sky. 1800s maybe?
The governor of Massachusetts colony says, hey, there's something flying around in the sky. It's making fire. It's moving at fast speeds, classic UFO.
He had really bad craps, so they called him the governor of Maryland.
You're talking about like genital
So
craps?
this dude, governor from Boston at that time, has a British accent, or at least a transatlantic.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of weird shit, but not to get into accents, but I heard like back in like that time, the English sounded more like us now, and we sounded more like them now. And like things that you can't even like an English accent today is not an English accent from like the 1600s, so it's really hard to like know what the fuck they sounded like.
Wow.
So, anyways, I got another one. We jump up to 1808, where a school teacher, 24-year-old school teacher in Massachusetts, in Camden. Oh, actually, she was
This is just in Massachusetts, by the way.
No, this is New England.
We're
Okay.
doing New England.
She was in
Still,
Maine.
New England's a small piece of the earth.
She was in, at one point, I think it was all anyway, the same thing anyways, but she was in Maine, and she was a school teacher from Massachusetts, and her diary entry kind of reads like his. She saw some weird, strange appearance in the sky. It was a light. It proceeded east. At first, she thought it was a meteor because she was aware of meteors in 1808, which is interesting. I don't see why they wouldn't, though, because there was no light pollution, so they would see that kind of stuff all the time.
Right.
So they would know when they'd see a shooting star or something.
Oh, yeah.
They
The
probably
night,
saw
the
them
night
way
sky
more.
was way
Yeah.
clearer because there was no...
It darted across the sky as quickly as light, then appeared to be in the atmosphere, and then but lowered towards the ground, kept an equal distance, sometimes ascending and sometimes descending. This is 1808.
sounds like a drone.
It does sound like a drone. I mean, well, which is like what a saucer does. It goes in any which direction. It
A lot
stops
of
in the air
these. If you're not hearing an abduction story, if you're just hearing like the UFO sighting, it sounds a lot like a drone. Like someone's coming to fucking check shit out.
Was Cynthia menstruating?
God.
She was the month after, and then she got attacked by a jungle cat.
I'm a doctor, okay?
I hear you. Well, let me tell you, there is some sort of thing
They
going
didn't wear
on.
tampons then either. She just bled
I'm a
everywhere.
scientist.
There is some weird thing going on with the abductions where they think it's going on inside of family lines, right?
Yeah.
So like
Definitely.
generations of these.
Which would make sense. 'Cause they would track a shape of family.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. If we were doing experiments on mice, we would put them in control, like a controlled environment.
That's right.
Oh, this is this group, and blah blah blah. So yeah, I don't know. It's tough.
I used to experiment on worms when I was a little kid. I used to do surgery.
You're just
They
talking-
never survived.
You're just talking New England too, because like I know the Renaissance period had some artwork with UFOs
Yes,
painted
that's
in
another
it.
thing. So if you go through the history of UFOs in general, Renaissance art, there were like sightings from other people all over the world. Like this is just New England.
There's some. I think the Catholic Church has got some paintings and some other shit.
Oh yeah, I think the Catholic Church is a fucking alien cult, and I think there's some, or partly, I think there's like there's deep libraries in the Vatican that have a lot of crazy shit. I bet.
What do they call that? It's like not like an archives,
Yeah, it's like a.
kind of like the archives.
Like the Library of Alexandria, like if that was still around, there was so much shit we lost.
Burned to the
History
fucking
we
crisp,
lost.
buddy.
Yep, it burned a bunch of times, but that was like we lost everything.
And
Or
that's my point too about like understanding the ley line thing is that if they're using some of that stuff that was being used may have been destroyed by a conquering, nation because that shit happened all the time.
I got a late line on my pants.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think that that's how a lot of shit just gets wiped out is wars.
Interesting thought though that the Catholic Church is an alien cult.
I'm not the first person to say it. A lot of people have felt that way. There's a shit ton of UFO activity around the Temple of Solomon or whatever.
Yeah, there's been some around the White House too.
In Jerusalem, there's a building. It's a religious building. Periodically, the Muslims had it throughout history.
Isn't that the one they all go to? Every religion goes to.
Yeah, periodically.
The Wailing Wall or something? No.
No, it's all I know is I think it's a Temple of Solomon in Israel, and I think it's actually in Jerusalem. And so, we've heard all this fighting over the wars of the Crusades and stuff like that, but there's been a lot of UFO sightings around that building. So it's like some sort of point, right? And it could be on a ley line, or it could be like. See, the significance of the ley lines, Sean, is that it's somehow it's like a highway of energy that they tap into for everything.
Yeah.
So that all their energy comes from it's being produced by the Earth itself, and they just tap into it somehow wirelessly. But they have some sort of like alternate propulsion to get here. It's like something supposedly like that.
Isn't so right now, and again, I don't know about much. I don't know. Let's just say I know zero about space travel. So in any way, but right now there has to be specific calculations that when a ship is being sent somewhere, they have to calculate it every way because they can't just zoom around, right?
No.
So
You need to point your direction, and once you're there, you shut off engines.
I guess what he's saying is flying through hyperspace ain't like dusting crops, boy.
Yeah.
You could,
Without precise calculations, you could bounce too close to supernova.
yeah, come out of hyperspace in an asteroid field, and then you're
It'll
tripping
end
over pretty quick, wouldn't
Yeah.
it? Right? Yeah, exactly.
so what
My
I'm
Star Wars
saying,
quotes are awful right now.
You're okay.
what I'm saying is that if those ships are operating under the same type of technology or
You think it runs throughout
travel.
that current
They're-
runs throughout the universe?
well, they're going through certain routes. And,
Could be
and
highways.
and then maybe at some point in time in history, they built all these like holy spots because that's where they kept seeing alien spaceships.
Intergalactic.
I think there could be wormholes too, like where
Right.
it's intergalactic highways, where like
Yeah.
space is bent or like there's holes in space, and I think
That's what happened on the show
that's what we need to
Farscape.
find. I think we're gonna accidentally find one of those one day, and we're just gonna be like, shit.
So you got that's a good theory. What you're saying is that they built routes from point A to point B that they travel on, and that was going on, and humans were down here going,
Right.
you see that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
They built
our
their
shit
religion there.
close to it so
That's-
we could keep seeing it.
That was their holy.
possible.
That became their place where they
It's
worshiped.
possible, but
So
And then it stayed there because, if you look at Christian religion, they
just
came
kept
up-
coming and going. Didn't care what we were doing down there, but to us, it was this big temple.
right.
Got you.
And then like Christians took so many pagan holidays and made them Christian. So what
they
it
can
just
all
all
culture.
comes from the beginning when aliens came. And
All right, let me ask you a
All right,
serious
Dan.
question.
I should get through because
Yeah.
if we don't get through this, the outline,
One
the
quick-
whole-
one-
it'll happen again. We just went off on a tangent again.
No. One quick question: Do you think?
yeah,
What's the percentage of likelihood in your mind that our species was hybridized by some other intelligent species?
Or seeded.
I kind of like the seeded idea of someone came. I guess it was hybrid or seeded, and maybe seeded. It just depends on the reason, right? So let's say we were seeded, and a group of ETs came and dropped us off, found our planet, was like, "This looks pretty good."
But were we already like a living organism, like humans,
Yeah.
or were we like single celled and they just threw us in the ocean and see what happened?
That I don't know, but I think it would probably be single cell.
Okay, so you feel like not specifically designed like us now.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah.
All right,
But they
Dan.
knew we would get to this, maybe, or
Maybe.
or I don't know. Yeah.
So in 1961, during the Cold War, there was an Air Force base in Vermont. It was like a radar base, and so basically there was like 175 men that worked there. It was a pretty good sized base, not huge though, pretty small considering for an Air Force base.
Is this Maelstrom or no?
This is this is East Mountain Radar Base. They also called it North Concord Air Force Station.
Gotcha.
So a remote facility in Vermont. So in 1961, according to military reports, a strange object appeared in the skies above East Mountain and remained visible for 18 minutes. Given that the events involving Barney and Betty Hill happened just a short time later, some assert that this was the same UFO that picked them up. The base was closed in 1963 and now sits abandoned.
So it flew
shit.
by a base in Vermont, was spotted on the way towards New Hampshire or wherever it was going, and
Yep.
just randomly
And it happened right around the time of Benny and Barney Hill in 1961.
We say randomly, but we don't. I don't
Yeah.
know if anyone's exhumed their bodies and looked for those little chips that they
So,
find.
yeah,
But
right.
For all we know, those could have been. That's like the 20th generation of people that those people were tagging.
And Betty and Barney Hill were from Portsmouth, New Hampshire, so pretty close. They were traveling into the White Mountains, and that's when they got abducted. And so basically, it was like the first widely reported incident of alien abduction in the United States. They were taken near Franconia Notch on the night of September 19th, 1961. According to their account, the Hills saw a bright light in the sky while driving home at about 10:30 p.m. Betty thought at first it was a shooting star, but then it changed direction and moved upward. They stopped the car for a closer look, and through the binoculars they saw an odd craft with flashing multicolored lights.
The binoculars in the car?
Yeah, I guess I have binoculars next to my kitchen just to see deer.
Yeah, birders.
Yeah.
Birders.
And this is also a day when, before like cell phones and shit, that's one of the things in your car. You had a Swiss Army knife, you had a,
Yep.
Canteen.
Flint, the canteen.
Map.
Yep. So they drove away. The craft, which they estimate was 40 feet long, followed them, eventually descending so low over the 57 Chevy that they stopped the car. Again, using binoculars, Barney saw humanoid figures in black uniforms through the ship's windows. Like, they had windows, like, looking at them.
Transparent aluminum.
That's crazy, yeah. So basically what happened was they heard a buzzing and a beeping sound, they experienced tingling, and then they blacked out. And when they regained consciousness, they had traveled nearly 35 miles south, although they didn't recall the journey. And later, during hypnosis, the Hills described being taken into a ship where they were separated and examined.
The hypnosis thing is the big one, because that later on ended up that when the Hubble telescope was able to actually see the parts of the stars that Betty Hill was describing in her map that she drew out.
Zeta Reticuli or something like that.
Yes, but I'm saying like it matched up like almost exact, right?
Yeah. She wouldn't have access to that in 1961. Now, what's interesting about them is they're the first black and white married couple that I mean, not first, but they were a very early, married black, interracial.
It was
couple,
illegal, I think. I think it was illegal.
Yeah, it was. Maybe New Hampshire was different, but
right.
The incident. See, the thing about the incident is, it's like sparked like a lot of like the stereotypical like UFO and abduction stuff later on. But they also, around that time, there was an Outer Limits episode, which is like Twilight Zone for sci-fi.
In the 63?
It's 61. There was an Outer Limits episode that aired 2 weeks before or something like that. That was similar to had aliens in it. So
you're saying that
people knew what aliens were then. Like they knew about flying saucers.
They've been talking about this since fucking George Washington, probably way longer before.
Yeah,
that.
Wasn't Star Trek out?
Star Trek was not out yet. No. Late 60s Star Trek was out.
No, the world wasn't ready yet. But I will say that it was a major contribution.
I'm sure.
And some people say that like I don't know if it's an extraterrestrial intelligence or if it's just like the overall intelligence of the universe, but like, you get these people, like the guy that invented Angkor Wat, he just like woke up one day and all the blueprints were in his head, right? Mm-hmm. There's some Indian mathematical genius, I don't remember his name, but same thing happened to him. He went to bed one night, woke up, next day he had these mathematical formulas in his head that were like super advanced, and he just like, they just were there. Star Trek, a lot of people say like there's like lore around it that Gene Roddenberry was like just woke up one day and had the idea in his head. Other people say he was abducted by aliens, and now with that new guy that came out, was it Israel? The guy in Israel that said there's a federation. General. There's a federation of aliens, and used the word federation specifically
which
because
is like
it's
so cool.
Right.
Well, I mean, it was specific to Star Trek, right? And so some people say that Roddenberry himself was taken up into some sort of extraterrestrial craft and given the information that, like, listen, you just got out of World War II. The Korean conflict kind of went on, but no one talked about it. We were heading towards a Cold War. We had nukes hot now. We'd used them already. So like there's people out there that think like he was not like a messiah or anything like that, but he was going to write this TV show, and they gave it to him, and they were like, look, you got to make a show about this and put the idea out there that people of different backgrounds can work together and get things done. But there's a lot of inventions in Star Trek that have come to fruition.
There's a bunch in the movie 2001: A Space Odyssey too. You see like IBM tablets in it, like that say IBM on them. They're like iPads, they look remarkably like an iPad now. Like not bulky, like.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, an iPad makes sense.
There's Zoom meetings on it.
I've got a pad of paper right here, right? Like this is functionally. Makes sense. It's thin. I can hold it.
Yeah, no.
It makes sense to design a computer that way eventually.
They expected it to happen in 2001, but it happened later on. But not that much further along though. 2001 did have like tablets of some kind.
And the Canadian Air Minister guy said something like 84 species are in contact with the
he was like
governments of the Earth right now.
Yeah, he was like one of
that's
the
like a
top,
very specific number.
Yeah. I wish Trump came out with something like.
No one would have listened to him. They would have said, "Go to hell."
They probably wouldn't let him put it out because they had something on him.
Right.
Like like we got a video of you getting peed on under a coffee table. Like
I don't know.
shit on.
It is a weird thing that none of the presidents of the United States want to disclose it.
Say.
They'll joke about it, and then when it comes time, they're like, nah. They probably find shit out that they're like,
It's disturbing.
Oh, okay, it's this disturbing. I guess that's why nobody else has told people, and now I can't.
Yeah.
And it is probably feels really good for your ego to know something like that, like nobody else can know. Like you don't want to share something that like you are special for.
I think they got a doomsday device planted on the Earth, and they can blow it whenever they want. That's the only thing.
Well,
I
we
can
kind
think
of do. They're called nukes.
Yeah, I know. Well, that's another big thing with the ETs, right? And that's why I was mentioning
They shut nukes down.
Maelstrom. But I know you wanted to talk about New England, but that's a big.
Well, I mean,
that's a big encounter.
I wanted to get to Barney and Betty Hill more than anything. There's a lot of other things in New England in the 60s. Like there's the Exeter incident in 1965. Exeter, New Hampshire. There's a pretty good, like, famous incident there.
What happened there?
The Exeter incident was basically with the Hill incident. It was published by same guy, John G. Fuller. He published a story later on called "Incident at Exeter," and basically, a policeman patrolling Route 101 just after midnight stopped to check on a woman parked beside the road. The breathless woman claimed that a flying object with red flashing lights had been chasing her. A few hours later, an 18-year-old man arrived at the Exeter police station and claimed that while hitchhiking along Route 150, he'd seen a line of 5 bright lights over a house about 100 feet from where he stood. He said the lights moved over a large field and disappeared, and then reappeared behind the tree line several times. After driving to the site with the young man, the policeman witnessed the lights as he saw it himself, as did another officer who arrived a short time later. Over the weeks that followed, authorities received about 60 reports of UFO sightings near Exeter that night. Debunkers have claimed that the lights would match those of Air Force KC-97 refueling plane, but officially the Exeter sightings remain a mystery.
I mean, that plane only gets that low to the ground during takeoff and landing.
Yeah, I think it's
literally designed at high altitude.
These things are moving a certain way. People aren't stupid. Like,
yeah, you see something that doesn't make sense. That's why it flags your attention. You're like,
yeah,
hey,
right.
If you see something falling out of the sky, you're like, okay, there it goes.
Right.
It's coming down. I can kind of predict. It's like catching a ball. I can't do it.
I can tell it's a plane.
I can kind of figure out where it's coming.
You can tell when something's moving in crazy.
But when something comes in at a hyper speed and then comes to a complete stop and then does a zip in a different direction, that's something that doesn't make sense.
Right.
Right. And the fucked up thing about what's going on with the military sightings is that's basically all they see is like. You got I think there's 3 major types of ET sightings that the military gets, right?
They have close encounters.
You get those in World War II. They had the Foo Fighters, right?
Yes.
You know what the Foo Fighters were? Other than the awesome rock band?
No.
All right, so the Foo Fighters were these things that were flying around during aerial engagements during World War II. The Nazis thought we were controlling them.
And we thought they were.
They were controlling them. The Japanese thought the Nazis have these and they don't want to tell us. No one knew who they belonged to. Every side assumed it was the other side's. Dan, you correct me if I go off track here.
Go ahead.
These things were they varied in size, but they were pretty small. I want to say no bigger than the circumference of this table. And they were these orbs. They were spherical orbs.
They were orbs fucking with our pilots.
They were levitating these orbs. They were orbs of light that were pulsating and flying in line or in formation with the Allied or Axis forces, or even during engagements, and they would be knocking out the electrical systems of some of these ships. And so the pilots were like, "Oh, the Foo Fighters fucking took me out,"
What does Foo mean? Why did they call it Foo Fighters?
I don't know what the. Can you look up what?
Some sort of language.
It might go back to Fubar, fucked up.
Right.
The fucked up fighters, right?
yeah.
I'm gonna look up Foo, but I believe it was FOO, right? Because that's why they spelt it.
Right.
And now I have to Google it, and all the computer wants to tell me is about the band, right. But I have to type in World War II. Foo Fighters World War II is the first thing that comes up. Wikipedia says the term Foo Fighter was used by Allied aircraft pilots during World War II to describe various UFOs, an aerial phenomenon that generally took place during the European and Pacific theaters. Though Foo Fighter initially described a type of UFO reported the name by the 415th Night Fighter Squadron. And yeah, I mean, they basically, the first sighting occurred in 1944, so it was like towards the end of the war. So it'd be like if somebody was like, if somebody was keeping an eye on the planet, and they saw that the whole entire planet was erupting into war with tanks and planes, and we were about to light off nukes, because that's what ended World War II, basically, was the nukes. Right. So we were probably testing nukes, and these guys were probably flying around trying to figure out what.
Well, yeah. Why did sightings really start? It seemed like they really started interacting with our military and everything after World War II.
Yeah, because we weren't slinging arrows anymore.
Right,
basically.
but when we were slinging arrows, it just seemed more like it didn't seem as interactive. It seemed more like observational, and then and it was very sporadic. But after World War II, that's when the sightings really pick up. I mean, the ones I'm going through are just New England. Like, if I wouldn't pick up a list, coast to coast, it'd be huge.
For 10 years.
And then if I picked up a list that was worldwide, it'd be even bigger.
So we on our initial run on this episode, we talked about MUFON with an M, not a U.
Yeah.
So it's the Mutual UFO Network. Yeah.
Are we gonna say it wrong again?
No, I'm pretty sure that's it. MUFON.
It's the mother uckin'.
So this is a whole entire research group dedicated to this, of increasingly legitimate scientists, right?
Yeah,
and
they're very serious.
It sucks that the scientific community is so fucking stick in the mud, nose in the air type shit. Like they have,
especially the astronomers.
No, it's everything, dude. It's geology. It's everything. If you try to rock the boat in any way, it's fucked up, because science is literally that. It's like you're supposed to be pushing the limits. Whoa, the vape looks awesome through the cloud, through the microphone thing.
I love my vape. This is
that would be a great intro shot for you for like a video for us. Just be all right. But anyway,
make an action video.
Yeah,
like a montage, like push it to the limit,
something like that. I'm sorry.
MUF.
Yeah, I got it.
And we know it's MUFON, but I just didn't know it stands.
So these guys, they're all these different scientists that are coming out, because in science, like when you come out with a new theory, you get shit on hard, and like it's hard to get these jobs, and it's hard to get these gigs, and
make tenure.
Yeah, it's hard to teach at a school, and it's you have massive amounts of pressure on you to conform to this model that's been given to you, that yep, this is what history was like, this is the history of man.
Don't question it.
Don't question any of these things. Where science is supposed to be questioning stuff, you know what I mean? So it's fucked up. It's being ruined. Yeah. But I don't know. People are questioning things. Just it takes time to break through the fucking.
So I have a point.
Barrier.
I have something to say. So, anyways, around 1967, mid 60s, late 60s, this is when sightings change, because they're not only just sightings now. People start snapping photographs,
right?
And fakes come out.
The video camera too.
Yeah, people start taking photographs and So, 1967, Harold Trudell, this is in Woonsocket, Rhode Island. He was 29 years old. He pulled his car over, took some pictures of unidentified objects. They were metallic, dome-shaped objects. The UFOs hovered above power lines. He snapped some pictures for about 5 minutes. He got 7 good images, which would become some of the most iconic UFO photos of their day, but which look a bit hokey right now. So, I think they're fake. I think they're bullshit. I don't know what he did to get those discs up there. He did something. I mean,
no, there's a shit ton of fake stuff out there, which sucks, because it makes it so hard to filter through.
Yeah,
that's essentially what, if my understanding is correct, the Men in Black or the Magic, group there. Their whole basically, I think all the governments of the world's major, when they didn't want this information to cause panic and stuff, they just put out a bunch of fake shit.
So I don't even think they have to worry about the real shit, because everybody just puts it aside, except for the people who are like me. Nobody takes me seriously.
I do. You guys were talking about this last week, 2 weeks ago technically, but on the last episode, the crisis actors.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was a thing.
Big time.
It's not really.
Well, no, it's a thing. As far as I'm not saying it's real. I'm saying it's. Yeah. But it's pretty convincing, though. Anything can be convincing.
But
Flat Earth can be convincing.
People think that that these actors are like
they're using the same actors every time.
They're trying to like juice up these scenarios to push an agenda, like
yes,
gun control or something.
And the pictures they do match up with some of them pretty crazy, but like you could find anybody to match up with anybody.
They might just be activists, you know.
Yeah,
but
you find somebody that matches with me, then
that's
Chris,
basically what the modern governments of today have basically like scattered so much like fake manufactured UFO crap out there that it made everyone think that no, that's all fake. It's all just bullshit. It's all just movies.
Yeah,
you know.
Now, in 1976, there were another string of abductions. They're called the Allagash abductions, and
this is New England as well.
This is New England. This is in Maine's Allagash Wilderness Waterway. They saw an unidentified object, and apparently, like they were, what happened? They were. Oh, right. They described the sighting to a ranger the next day, but weren't taken seriously. It suggested the fact they were canoeing, basically. That they had seen a searchlight. Somebody said it was being used to celebrate the grand opening of a hardware store in Millinocket. Students continued their trip, did not talk about much of their encounter until years later, which one of them, Jim Weiner, started having seizures. Weiner claimed to have had visions of humanoid beings levitating above his bed, poking him with needles. Under hypnosis, all four men described small gray aliens taking them aboard a spacecraft and performing medical examinations on them.
It's fucked up that hypnosis.
Yeah, and there's a book about it, and Joan Rivers' show, Unsolved Mysteries, they all did this.
These guys were a hot case.
His former, let's see, somebody said, however, one of the men, Charlie Rack, said that though the group really did see an unidentified flying object twice during the canoe trip, the rest of the story had been made up. His former friends dispute this.
Wow.
I mean, you're talking about something that they were questioned on it 20 years later.
20, yeah.
I mean, think about if I asked you right now, like what happened at this party we were at 20 years ago.
I had like images flashing.
You might remember like three vague things, right? Like, this guy threw a keg in the pool. It was crazy.
It's funny how it's the accumulation of our lives is basically shit memory.
Yeah.
But you might be at that party and you might be like, yeah, I remember that, but it wasn't dude A that threw the keg in the pool. It was dude B. And then the other guys can be like, oh yeah, you're right. I completely forgot. You know, so it's like you're talking about memory of 20 years ago, but
it's in there though in little wrinkles. It's in there somewhere.
You think that?
I think all memories are saved.
You think that your entire memory is saved and like we just can't access it, but like under regressive hypnosis, you would access anything.
I think these connections and neurons are made like through like association and like smells and sights and stuff. But I don't think like there's a computer database in our brains we just haven't accessed yet. But I think there's a lot of memories that we don't...
No, I'm asking you if, like, everything you've ever experienced is logged in there.
I don't think so, but I also think that, like, sometimes, like, I'll smell something, like I smelled this skunk toy that was, smelled like a skunk. It was a Master of the Universe toy.
That old plastic smell.
Yeah, and this one was meant to smell like a skunk.
Very familiar.
And I smelled it, and it gave me a rush of memories.
Right.
So...
It could be. They could all be in there.
Yeah.
But we don't know how to access our brain in that way.
There was a psychologist named Proust that talked about that, how he bit into a cookie, like an old Italian cookie, and he brought back a bunch of memories.
What scares me about the extraterrestrial theory of us being a workforce thing is that it makes a lot of fucking sense.
Yeah.
You know, you're like, if you were to go to another planet, you would, like, just say anywhere, it doesn't really matter, right? It's going to cost an enormous amount of time, money, and energy to get there, and, like, build stuff and create stuff. Like if you had a workforce on the planet that you could
just got every natural resource, then you could just go pick it up when it's ready. Like, they got gold, they get its plastic, they get its
there's other things too. Like you and I are pretty much tuned into the human body itself. Basically, all biology on the planet is pretty much tuned into like 1G gravity. Mm-hmm. And roughly 1 atmosphere of atmospheric pressure. Some places of high altitude, low altitude, whatever.
Yeah, but
like our biology is very specific to thrive. So when we go to like a different planet, look at all the shit that you got to put on you to go and survive in space, right? You got to put on a suit and you got to block out radiation and you got to do this and you got to do that. And then when you get to that planet, right, there's going to be viruses and bacteria and all kinds of shit you're not immune to and stuff. So you would have to have like it would make sense to have a being on that planet that was already indigenous to it that you could like mold into a workforce and be like, here, I need you to build infrastructure immediately.
It'd be very hard to leave this country this world to begin with. They say like find another planet. Even if you found one like Earth, you're right. The disease and like the animals, we just wouldn't even be able to. Probably wouldn't even know what to eat. We wouldn't know what to do. It would take a long time to adjust.
What's poisonous? What isn't?
Right. We could all die right away just from like a common virus they have.
Like quicksand, we know what it is, but somebody else might not have that where they live.
And if they're like a populated planet with like plants and animals, they're gonna have viruses at the lowest levels because that's just the way things started.
Well, I think a virus is probably a pretty universal organism, right? Supposedly, they survive in the vacuum of space, and so if they're flying around on asteroids like bacteria is, and they touch down somewhere, they probably work using the same mechanism. So, like, theoretically...
Our bodies are the same mechanisms here or there.
Yeah, so theoretically, like an advanced civilization would be able to be like, okay, we're gonna become immune to all viruses right now, and shoot themselves up with something and be like, that's it. We have super antibodies. Nothing could take us out. Yeah. But, like, when you watch War of the Worlds, that's, like, how they went down. Like, this alien force had landed an entire occupying army here. And they kicked the shit out of Earth for about 6 weeks, and then everyone died. They all died of the flu.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
War of the Worlds came out before 1900. It was first published in 1898.
Oh no, the book.
The book, and then they read the radio story.
His son read it on the radio, right?
I think and they freaked everybody out, right?
Right, everybody thought it was real.
Yeah. Can you fucking
imagine? Fucking awesome.
It'd be like when 9/11 happened and everyone was freaking out.
I heard it was overblown.
Like 20 minutes later, everyone, like the president, was like, "Oh, hey, that wasn't even real, man. We just put that on there. That was just for laughs."
Yeah. I read about that. Most people knew it was fake because they did have a disclaimer at the beginning. And some people that tuned in thought it was real, but it was way overblown on how crazy it was. No, most people knew it was fake. It was just a bunch of fucking idiots that thought like this is the end of the world, and they started panicking. But
the stoners of that day.
I have one more sighting, by the way.
From,
if you guys want
from New England, New Hampshire.
Yeah. This one's from Newtown, Connecticut. It's called the Newtown Lights, and this one is accompanied by an image taken in 1987. So basically, this is an airline pilot named Randy Edding, and he often studied the skies when he walked, trying to observe like passing planes, like identify them.
Just like he'd be like,
that plane, that's an 857.
It's a single engine Cessna.
Yep.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so, anyways, around 9:45 p.m., he observed some orange and red lights approaching from the west. He got his binoculars. Again, somebody with binoculars.
So he was an aircraft expert.
He was an aircraft expert, yep.
I got you.
He called his neighbors to come outside. Edding said that the UFO passed over Interstate 84. Cars pulled over to watch, and in between 9:30 and 10:15 p.m., more than 200 people phoned the police to report a UFO. The object displayed a semicircular pattern of very bright, multicolored lights. Several drivers reported that their cars had lost power as the lights passed by. About 15 minutes later, calls started coming in from New Milford, Connecticut, about 14 miles north, alerting authorities that the lights, reported by many to be connected to an object larger than a football field, were hovering there. The lights eventually vanished, but the mystery remains. Yeah, so the picture's pretty cool. It's like multicolored lights. That one's not as... Wow. It's hard to take photographs of lights in the sky.
It's very
dark
hard.
night. I try photographing the moon.
It's very hard.
You with a good camera, but that's pretty cool.
The thing that's funny about that, to me, it just stands out for some reason, is like, why is it, and this is, I guess, just what people do when they freak out, but like, why do people call the police if they see a UFO? What are they going to go do?
Yeah.
Are they gonna put a squad car up there and fucking pull them over? Like, so even if you lived in like
police aren't gonna do shit.
Even if you lived in like a major metropolitan city that had like a police helicopter, they're not gonna put that thing up there. They're gonna be like, sorry, that's
you know what I think
$1,000 a gallon. Man.
I think people just want it to be real somehow, and that reporting it makes it real.
Right.
I don't know. 200 phone calls though. That's
makes it real.
That's not like 6 weirdos that called up. Like prank, like you and 6 buddies got together and pranked the cops in the 80s before
I'd say 200
caller ID was a thing. They'd be like, hey, we got 200's a lot.
200's legit.
Yeah,
because you got to figure like I'm out there, me and my kid, guy across the street, Joe regular guys out there sees this thing, right? My instinct isn't going to be to call the cops. I'm going to take a photo and like send it to my buddy or something, right? But like, I'm not going to call the authorities. What are they going to do?
If I see a good UFO, I might call the cops.
What would they? That's crazy.
Just to put a report in. Not
you feel like
they haven't come out.
They're going to
make an official report, so it shows up
they'll escalate it.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't call the cops when I was abducted last night, so
maybe you had a good time.
I don't remember half of it. I just remember waking up with my nipples pierced.
I have a shirt that I buy for like friends that have babies. You know,
Yeah.
it's more for like boy babies than girl babies because it's just but whatever. But I guess anyone can wear it. But it says on the front, "Man, last night was a blur. All I remember is sucking on some titties and shitting myself." I think that's like fucking awesome. Like to give like a 1-year-old boy, you know what I mean? It's fucking hilarious. Like our 6-month-old boy, you know what I mean?
Have we all shit ourselves from drinking too much?
I've never done it.
I've
you?
never done it for
I did.
drinking.
I've never really drunk myself so sick that anything like that.
I woke
lost
up in the
control.
shower. My sister was giving me a shower.
I've woken up in strange places.
Yeah, my sister had to give me a shower.
I've peed places, but not in my pants.
I said, never drinking again.
Yeah, no, it's bad. It's bad juju sometimes, man.
I was with your brother.
So,
I had to throw my bed out.
I was hoping for some more Massachusetts sightings.
Yeah, and there's a bunch. I mean, Bridgewater Triangle is pretty cool because there's a lot of like cryptid sightings. And like Western Mass, there's a lot of like UFO sightings. There's a lot of like Bigfoot and like just.
What do you?
Ghosts are big in New England too. Ghosts are huge.
What do you think? There's active bases here on the planet, and that these craft come and go as they please?
I think they know where everything is on the planet. I think they have the whole thing charted. I think they know where every military base is, where every nuke is. They know where to go. They've charted this planet and they've probably studied it to the max. You know?
Right, but like Bob Lazar talks about there being a live extraterrestrial that worked on the base that, worked with humans at the base that he worked at, right?
Did he say that?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he did.
Sometimes, I don't know. Sometimes he's full of shit, it seems, but then other times, like, some of his stuff gets, like, verified.
Oh, man, you used to be hardcore no matter what.
No. Bob Lazar, I used to think Bob Lazar was bullshit. Now I kind of think he's legit, but that'd be another episode, I think. We could talk about Bob Lazar.
Yeah,
I mean, that would make sense if there was, that the Israeli guy came out and said his thing. Granted, he's 80.
Canadian
he's
guy was pretty old, too.
So it could be in dementia, but that's okay.
Well, Los Angeles has a shit ton of UFO activity, and supposedly
the Battle for Los Angeles.
Yeah, I know it was a good movie, but there's
there's sightings.
I think there's like an underwater base supposedly off the coast of California somewhere.
I could see that. We forget about like the fact that they could probably go underwater and cloak and do a whole bunch of shit.
Yeah, these things are.
But it would be their this planet could be a full base for multiple. It could be just
like
a
the whole
station.
core. The whole inside is a
and
base.
The Galactic Federation or whatever is like, yeah, we're gonna do whatever we want to you.
Well, if you watch,
and we'll let you live, and we're gonna fucking touch you, and we're gonna maybe grab you. We're gonna bring you up in our ship. We're gonna pierce your nipples.
I don't know why the
that
deal
happened
was
last night to one of our guys right here.
I hear you.
This is a shocker, but I did not. They did not pierce my nipples. I did it myself.
Well, you got it done at a place.
I got it done. My pierce was real fast. So
do you think you could put a needle through your own nipple if you had to?
No. It's so they clamp it and then it's so fast.
I know
it's over.
You'd have to do it like real quick before you could feel
I
it.
jump. Oh God!
Son of a motherless goat,
bitch.
They numb you out? Do they numb it out? Yeah.
No.
If you watch Star Trek, you would know that the Federation does, in fact, set up observational posts on planets, but they have a non-interference policy.
Yeah, they won't interfere with planets like ours.
With pre-warp technology. That's the line.
If they're not ready to like travel along the galaxy,
that's the line.
Yeah.
Right.
If you have warp technology of your own,
you're ready to
join
branch
the
out.
You've figured out whatever it is you needed to figure out.
But if you're still stuck on your planet,
still blowing yourself up in Civil War. Sorry.
Because there's that episode with that planet that's a lot like ours now, that's like pretty advanced, and they're about to create warp, but people are against like technology and stuff.
Yeah.
But like that episode is very cool because they're a very advanced planet. They're just not quite ready for contact yet.
Yeah. What's advanced?
Technological adolescence.
I believe that. I would believe that something like that to be real.
Yeah. It makes sense, right?
And obviously it's outlined.
If we exist, some of the other planets exist like us too.
We put the gorilla in the wild, the fake gorilla out there, right, for the other gorillas to play around with. Like, presumably they've got some fake humans running around. Like, probably Elon Musk is one of them. I don't know.
Probably. They probably got some that are like, like catalysts for like advance.
Well, yeah. So I love Elon Musk, by the way.
Yeah.
But so that's what they do. They like there are people out there that feel like there are some of these entities that are like guiding us towards this like divine providence or manifest destiny. Is that what they used to call it when they wanted to take over America and just wipe everyone out? They're like, it's manifest destiny. We're supposed to do this. So they feel like, there's some ETs that are like trying to help us. Other ones feel like, they want to enslave us when they get here. It's I think it's probably all of it, right? Like everything in the spectrum of human behavior that we have, like we have, war and we have violence, and then we have like people writing classical symphonies and making.
We're amazing though.
We make pecan pie, okay?
We're amazing.
Have you ever eaten a pecan pie?
But we're amazing.
It's delicious.
Dude, I like anything that's like a dessert right now because I've been dieting for 6 months.
Yes.
Tastes like blowing my load.
Things like
it's so good.
Well, I don't know what that tastes like, but it's
no, it's not like tasting my load. I mean, it tastes like it
metaphorically.
It's enjoyable as blowing my load.
It's like if your tongue could blow its load. That's
oh my god, this donut.
I had a donut yesterday.
I had like a nibble of things, then I feel guilty for 2 hours.
Yeah,
I ate a whole donut yesterday, and if there was like I was like making out with it. I was like, oh my god, it was so fucking good. I couldn't cope.
No, it's just like because you're eating bland food. I eat a lot of my snacks are like fruit. So like fruit's good, but like it's not like a cookie.
Right.
Would you? What's like the morphology of an extraterrestrial? Will you draw the line where you won't have sex with it? Like for me, I'm pretty.
Gotta have some kind of hole. I'm not gonna fuck its armpit.
So that's it. It's gotta have
some kind of hole.
It's gotta have an outlet.
No teeth.
It's gotta have an outlet.
No
to your
teeth
plug.
or spikes.
It has to have a jargon.
Yeah.
Why is it?
You ever see that South Park episode when
no
fuck my jargon?
What is it? What's a jargon?
You'll have to see it. Don't
I
make
have
sense.
to watch.
Shout out to some people that know about it.
Shout out to anyone who likes jargon.
It's an Easter egg. I'm sure some people do.
Fuck my jargon.
Oh my god. That's the thing with me is like I would, if an extraterrestrial, when we went and saw Star Wars 2: The Clone Wars, I remember we were in the theater, and my buddy Mark was sitting next to me, and you remember when they're on the Camino planet and they have the tall, slender white things that they're like 10 feet tall and they're like really graceful looking. I just lean over and whisper to my buddy Mark, I'm like, I'd do the hell out of that thing. And he goes, it doesn't, not even a second. He's like, totally.
They were like Avatar, kind of.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Oh, the Avatar things? Yeah, I would do one of those. Those were crazy. They had those like those things that
weird thing,
the neuro thing that came out of their head that attached to other organisms on the planet, and they could like link up and stuff. Why is an electrical outlet called an outlet, not an inlet? Can somebody explain that to me?
I don't know.
It doesn't make any sense. You said as long as I had something to put my dinky into, and I said like an outlet of some kind.
Yeah.
And then I thought to myself, why is it called an outlet and not an inlet? Because I'm putting my something in it.
The human male is just walking around looking like just. I guess we get more controlled as we get older, but when we're younger, we just want to stick our dick in things.
I hear
load everywhere.
I hear tell from older guys, and I'm like halfway older
that it
now.
gets you get hornier again?
No, I'm halfway old myself now, right? So, but I used to ask guys that were like 40 or 50, like, does this burden of like, does this like feeling of like I need to have sex with every hot thing that runs around, does it ever go away? And you hear all these married guys that are like, they're in, trying to be faithful to their wives and stuff, and they still see other hot chicks. They're like, nope, it never goes away, man. It never leaves. But yeah, my first instinct was, when aliens
I don't think it does.
Touchdown. What about you? What's your threshold for sex with an alien?
I mean, I don't know. I guess like you said, that tall
thing
white thing was cool. Does it have to be
human-esque? Like,
yeah, probably. But
what's the appendages? Could you do it with an alien that had 4 arms?
Yeah,
that's totally on the table.
Yeah.
Doggy style with an alien with 4 arms wouldn't even be called doggy style. It would be like ant style or something. Like we're doing an ant style.
You know what? We're talking about like having like sex with aliens, but like
naturally.
But I think this is bullshit because we wouldn't even have sex with certain humans that like don't fit our criteria for what we like.
Yeah.
So like we're gonna have like you wouldn't have sex with a guy if you're not gay. So how could you have sex with an alien that has a totally different hole?
What if? True. Listen, biology.
Guys just have a penis like, oh, it's familiar. Why wouldn't we be?
Biology is tricky. What if they have a pheromone that attracts you to them?
Well,
like
that's
the
different.
Orion females.
That's
I mean, there are other things out there. We were
What
joking.
if they had a different name for they had a different hole, a totally different sex organ, like a hooshi?
What's a hooshi?
I don't know, like I'm going to go down in our hooshi.
What's a hooshi?
A hooshi is like a hooshi.
It's like a thing I can't conceive of.
You can't even conceive of it.
Like a giant clitoris type thing.
No, it's not a clitoris, it's not a dick, it's a hooshi.
What do you have to vibrate it? How do you get it off? How do you operate it?
It's totally different. Totally different.
Man,
Yeah, it's a hooshi.
I would master the hooshi in 6 months.
It's hooshi is so wet.
Scientists
Or it's supposed to be wet.
Scientists from all over the planet.
Your hushi's so
be
dry.
like, I can't understand how this damn thing works.
Yeah.
Call in an expert. Like, I'll take a look at that thing. Let me at it.
Yeah.
Be like, we can't tell if it's male, female, what is it? I'm like, well, right here is the sublayer of the hooshi. You have to stimulate the right orb, the right gland on the hooshi. This will cause it to become erect, and then you can work. Maybe it's like a boner, but inverse. Like it hooks out at first, but when the chick gets aroused, it goes inside and gets soaking wet.
If it's a chick,
What if
if it's a female,
What if it starts fighting your penis? Like you go in, you're like, oh, this is like a hole, but then it starts forming out and starts fighting you.
Like a
hooshi.
We're gonna see. This is gonna become a thing. Oh God! Control yourself.
What if it's not wet or dry? What if it's sandy? A sandy hooshi.
Could be that the male. Or what we would perceive as the opposite end of the hooshi is like super slippery. So the inside has to be like sandpaper because the other end's like a piece of like slimy cucumber, and it needs like a super grippy substance to get in there. That could basically be the case. I mean, biology.
All right, so now we know what aliens have. They don't have a penis. They don't have a vagina. They have a hooshi. They don't have a bottle either.
We have a couple of
this
theories.
comes to mind.
Yeah, wet ass hooshi.
I can't play that too long.
Because
We'll get flagged.
Yeah, that's true. We'll get flagged.
Is that what?
That's it.
I've never heard the song.
We played it last night.
Can you believe that?
You ever heard the song?
Never once.
You gotta listen to it once at
A
least.
bucket and a box.
I'm not even a rap fan like
Wet-ass
Sean, but
hooshi.
I just like that one because I think it signifies us having freedom from the kids on a Saturday night. That's all.
Yeah, right.
It represents everything that's fun.
I'm becoming a whore. I'm not a dad anymore. Not for that night.
All right.
There's some whores in this car. Danny
You can
D,
blare it.
certified freak, wet ass hooshi. Make that pull-up game weak.
Rock ass hard hooshi, baby. I'm gonna have to do some editing. Put this at the beginning, or I'm gonna have to do like a.
Yeah, just let people get to it.
No, I know how to do it because we get that software. We can put a little clip at the beginning and give people a little juice.
Wet ass hooshi.
I get Dan a little hooshi.
But you know what though? Humans have they have a butthole, they have a vagina or a penis, and they have nipples, they have a mouth, they have all sorts of shit. So what if they have a hooshi? What if they have something else too?
When we were
They don't have mouths.
when we were brainstorming like what extraterrestrials' private parts were going to be like, I came up with the idea that the female, and again we're going with binary species because I think her.
I can't even say it.
Like, what if a species developed that's like could secrete the active ingredient in Viagra out of their vagina, and once you started having sex, it was like there was no getting out of there. You know what I mean?
Because she was ready to stop.
You know, like how dogs' penises are supposply like Velcro when they get an erection, they get inside, like it's hard to dislodge them.
I think that's cats.
No,
Cats have like spikes.
Yeah, so dogs have that too, but I think you're right. They have this weirdo like barbs that latch on when they're in there, right? So they can't be dislodged. Exactly. What if the opposite of that happened? What if an alien's hooshi fucking released a Viagra like substance that basically like got your dick so hard that you couldn't get it out? even if you wanted to run away right now, she'd be like, "Sorry, got you by your Hooshi."
Yeah. That Hooshi is like powerful. I don't think you.
I think I know I think I just figured out what a Hooshi is.
What's that?
It's like this little clumpy thing down there, right? And whatever they need it to do, it does, right? So like one of them, if there's only two of them, one of them will go to an inverted Hooshi, and one will get like a pecker, and they'll do it, right? They'll do it. But if there's like a plentiful amount, they'll say, "Oh, okay, whatever you want. You want the inside Hooshi or the outside? like an innie or an outie belly button, but it's an innie or an outie Hooshi."
Can you do scissors with a Hooshi?
Yeah, you could. You'd have to have two out. You'd have to have two innies though. Would you take laughing gas? Are you contact high from the weed?
I don't know. The Hooshi's got me going.
Something. I mean, we talked about this many times before, and no one ever really asked about it. But yeah, so that's.
We never talked about the Hooshi, though.
No, we never named it.
Well,
we never classified it, but now we have.
Oh boy.
Yeah, that was a good one. So I don't know. I guess we'll wrap up with that. I think I had
good part to end it.
Some shout outs. I don't know. I had. Just want to thank everyone who is listening so far. You know what I mean? It's been
thank you.
It's been great entertaining people.
If you love the show, let us know. If you don't like it, don't tell us.
No, we want to make it better. So
you can tell Chris I don't want to hear it.
Yeah, and I don't know what the Instagram launch, even how it functions, but we're working on that. We want to get.
Yeah, we'll have it all official. We're gonna have swag. We're gonna do everything.
Want to get some spread out. Spread the word, what have you. And yeah, until next time, man. What do you got? What do you got? You got a Hooshi? Did you?
You know what's funny is the universe is so infinite that a Hooshi actually exists.
Absolutely, it does.
Somewhere in the universe, a Hooshi exists.
Oh yeah, let's party. Oh yeah, suck my jag-on. Yeah, now you suck on my jag-on. Oh,
yeah, that's exactly what it is, except it's called a Hooshi instead of a...
Suck that jag-on.
All right,
Jag-on?
Yeah. That is an episode of South Park where...
So it's like a sex
Earth
organ?
is a TV show in the galactic world.
Okay.
And we're about to get canceled, and all the boys go on and try to get them to not, and they can't. But these two execs, they go bring them onto a strip club, and they end up getting so fucked up that they fuck each other and suck each other's jag-ons. And then they took pictures, so then they blackmailed them.
But wait, are they humans?
No.
And the humans blackmail them.
So you're saying we watch the show on their planet?
They watch us.
Why do they call it a jag-on and not a penis?
Because they are aliens.
Okay.
It's like a Hooshi.
Yeah. No, I mean you.
Not pussy, it's a Hooshi.
Yeah.
Is this?
I'll show you it. So
I haven't seen this, but is this where you got your theory that Earth is a sex safari site for extraterrestrials?
It's just all adds up. That's what they.
Oh, that's disturbing. But yeah, that's what a Hooshi. That's what a Hooshi is. It's like you can do whatever you need.
And they have both.
Do whatever you need to do with it. You know, you poke it, you prod it, you stuff it.
So I want people to think about their Hooshi tonight and go to sleep.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, that's how I want to close out this week's episode. I want everybody to just go home and play with whatever your Hooshi is, and however it works,
you like it,
however you activate that thing and make it work. I want you to get that Hooshi off and get somebody else's Hooshi off if you can too.
Do it.
All right. Until next time, guys. Question everything.
Peace.
Peace in the middle.